Every artist dreams of making it big, selling out shows, walking the red carpet, and making millions doing what you love. But the odds are against you. Even if you put out high quality music, without connections or money-backed promotion, nobody's going to listen to it. The music industry is a game where only a tiny fraction of artists win. And to win, you need corporations and the media to back you, which also means you must play by their rules. Oftentimes, artists can't even be themselves, releasing music that doesn't truly represent them and keeping quiet when told to do so. For every artist that blows up, there could be thousands of others just like them whose names we will never know because of their reluctance to sacrifice their true self. But one artist who never let anybody tell him what to do, yet whose name we all know, is Kanye West. And there would have never been another Kanye if he hadn't blown up.
Being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
He came from nothing but possessed a delusional self-belief and a creative genius. He didn't leave his success up to chance. He guaranteed it by maneuvering the social ladder of the music industry. His creativity, combined with his boldness, propelled him to the top, achieving the success that only one can dream of. However, the narcissistic charisma that led to his rise would eventually lead to his ruin. This is the story of a man who defied the odds, influencing an entire generation's culture and music. Yet what got him there would end up leading to his destruction, turning everybody against him, even his closest loved ones.
I love you. The Tribe album is dope. I love you. Don't tell me how to be me though. I've been me. I am me. I love you.
Born in Atlanta, Georgia in 1977, when Kanye was just 3 years old, in 1980, his parents got a divorce. Donda West, along with Kanye, would end up relocating to Chicago, where she found work. Being her only child, Kanye was showered with unconditional love from Donda, being taught to always speak his mind and stand up for what he believes in, no matter the circumstance. Graduating high school in 1995, Kanye would go on to university to study painting and English. However, at the age of 20, he would drop out to pursue music after realizing that the traditional college path was not for him. Working a telemarketer job by day, Kanye would stay up late at night doing what he loved, producing hip-hop beats. Within a few months, he sold his first major beat for $8,000 to Chicago rapper Gravity, and shortly after, in 2000, Kanye started working with Rockefeller Records out of New York City. His signature sound of soul sampling beats was eventually picked up by Jay-Z, who used his production on some of his albums. But Kanye's true aspiration was to become a rapper himself. No one would take him seriously though, because he wasn't gangster enough. By pursuing his own rap career, Kanye knew he would be risking all the credibility he had earned as a producer. But after nearly dying in a car accident in 2002, Kanye realized he couldn't go out without a legacy.
Just bought my mom a new car and a house, and that's a lot to say for a college dropout. I drove to New York with $10 to my name and brought back a couple platinum plaques on a plane and brought back that soul.
So in 2004, Kanye released his debut album, The College Dropout, which would change hip-hop forever. In a world full of Jay-Z's, Eminem's, and 50 Cent's rapping about their gangster lifestyles, Kanye came into the game rapping about his real experience of dropping out of school to pursue his dream. The album was an instant hit and even won him a Grammy. In 2005, he followed it up with Late Registration, another Grammy-awarded classic where he flexes on how he's made it. Living the lifestyle he had always dreamed of. The money, the fame, the women, he had it all. Fast forward a few years and Kanye is getting ready to drop his next project. He makes a bold move by moving his release date for his upcoming album to the same day as 50 Cent, but ends up outselling 50 Cent by 200,000 units, crowning him the hottest rapper in the game. On graduation, Kanye displays his arrogant personality and brags about his new life of stardom. He's on top of the world, and he knows it. But not everything is sunshine and rainbows, as he begins to hint at some of his doubts regarding this new lifestyle. On Flashing Lights, he shares his deep hatred for the paparazzi, claiming that he hates them more than the Nazis. Fans who didn't come from the street life felt as if they could finally relate to hip-hop music, falling in love with Kanye. I mean, how could you not? He was just a kid who came from nothing and believed in himself so much that he had made his dreams come true.
I know everybody asked me the question. They wanted to know, what kind? I know he's gonna growl out and he's gonna do something crazy. Everybody wanted to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
But this was just the beginning.
Well, it's a song I wrote for my mother back in 2000. It's one of my favorite songs. And I saved it for the opportunity to be on the Oprah show and perform it for her.
Singing the world premiere of Hey Mama, Kanye West!
In 2007, while Kanye was in London preparing for a tour, he received a terrible phone call. His mother, Donda, had tragically died. For the majority of his life, Donda had been all that Kanye had, the one whom he relied on. He was a true mama's boy, which made this news devastating. To make matters worse, Kanye and his fiancée at the time, Alexis Pfeiffer, separated after being together for 6 years. He had achieved everything he could ever want, but now had no one to share it with. No amount of money or success would ever make up for the loss of his mother. Initially planning on releasing a sequel to Graduation, Kanye scrapped that idea and gave us something completely different. A project that would match the dark place he was in. 808s and Heartbreaks was Kanye's 4th studio album, released in 2008. The confident, charismatic Kanye that was introduced to us on the first 3 projects was nowhere to be found on this album. Instead, for the first time, we saw just how vulnerable Kanye was. His success couldn't save him from the loss of loved ones, so his solution was to become heartless. His heavily auto-tuned voice expressed his emotions over minimalistic 808 drum beats. Many of his fans who were expecting the arrogant college dropout to rap about his money over soulful beats didn't like this project. But the thing was, the events of 2007 had changed Kanye as a person, therefore changing his music. It became clear that Kanye wasn't another artist who puts out music for the charts or the radio. Rather, he used his music to express himself as a true artist.
I appreciate everything, and I know you're really proud of me right now, and I know you wouldn't want me to stop, and you want me to be the #1 artist in the world. And mama, all I'm gonna do is keep making you proud. We run this.
Kanye was heartbroken, but his legacy wouldn't stop here. However, Donda would not be around anymore to keep her son in check.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
In 2009, after the infamous Taylor Swift incident at the VMAs, Kanye made himself a prime target for the media. He received so much backlash that he escaped to Japan to get away from the press. Before we continue, I just want to give everyone a heads up. We will be touching on suicide during the next few minutes. So if anyone is sensitive to that topic, viewer discretion is advised. And I also just want to say that if anyone watching is ever struggling with suicidal thoughts themselves, that you are not alone and that help is always available. During Kanye's time in Japan, he made a song that was never released, titled Never See Me Again. If you listen to the lyrics, it's practically a suicide note over an instrumental sampled from Japanese artist Yukiko Onada. Yukiko was an emerging pop star in Japan in the 1980s who tragically took her own life by jumping from the roof of a hospital. The reason was unknown, but it was speculated to be because of a failed relationship she had with another man. She also left a note behind, ending with the words, "I wanted to see him again," eerily similar to the title of this unreleased Kanye song. Kanye would later admit his suicidal thoughts during this period, but fortunately he was able to get out of the dark place he was in, and in 2010 he made his return. After relentless studio sessions in Hawaii, Kanye gave the world arguably the greatest hip-hop album of all time, My Beautiful, Dark, Twisted Fantasy. The life that he had been exposed to, and both the good and the bad that had come from it, led to a new Kanye once again, which would set the tone for the project. He knew he was the villain, and he embraced it. He rapped about the power he has and how ridiculous his extravagant lifestyle is. The album takes a dark twist as you get further into the track list, with Kanye revealing his deepest insecurity, that the life he had so badly wanted will actually come to destroy him. On Runaway, Kanye expresses his sense of defeat in the last half of the song, where all you can hear is his heavily distorted voice making noises resembling how he believes he is heard when the media calls him crazy. On the song Hell of a Life, Kanye basically calls his life hell, where he has no other option but to rely on sex, drugs and rock and roll to escape the living nightmare that was originally a dream of his. With hits like Power and All of the Lights, Kanye had crafted a true masterpiece, adding more Grammys to his trophy cabinet. By 2013, you couldn't deny Kanye's influence.
Mention names like Jay, Wayne, Kanye, like those guys are just gods to me, you know? So it's just crazy to, you know, be on that stage with him and, you know, share that moment. We got to stand there together. We did we had the pose going on and everything. It was crazy. Like, it was one of those moments that it just, what I loved about it was organic. Probably the most important moment in my life today, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, I do look up to Ye. You know, he's a major influence, if not the biggest influence in my career. You know, he's been a mentor to me, even if we didn't talk like how me and Puff talk or how me and Wayne talk. You know, Kanye's just mentored me through his decisions, and I study the game overall, but I study him, you know, very closely.
He already had a big ego, but when Kanye dropped Yeezus in 2013, we saw his confidence turn into full-blown God complex.
Someone comes up and says something like, "I am a god," everybody says, "Who does he think he is?" I just told you who I thought I was, a god. I just told you, that's who I think I am.
The third track, titled I Am a God, further proves this point, as Kanye thinks anything he touches is gold. But even after achieving this godlike status, Kanye was still frustrated with the limitations put upon him, especially those concerning his entrance into the fashion world. Just as people laughed when he was a producer trying to become a rapper, no one would take Kanye seriously as a rapper trying to enter the fashion industry.
It ain't that I feel like a slave. We are mentally enslaved. We enslaved to brands. We enslaved to like a Benz symbol. We enslaved to chains. A woman is enslaved to the concept of diamonds are a girl's best friend. Like girls in London don't even wear engagement ring. That's all been programmed into us. When we born artists. We born free, and then we held down by society's perception of us. We just don't want to be embarrassed.
We see Kanye start to have strong feelings against materialism and the overall concept of consumerism, and how dehumanizing it is. On the track Blood on the Leaves, Kanye spits, "All I want is what I can't buy now," showing how he's realizing that his success is not enough to satisfy his desires. These were things we would never expect old Kanye to rap about, but now that he had entered a whole new world, his perspective had changed, and he was just telling us how he felt. Angry, frustrated, and spiraling out of control, he aims to appear larger than who he really is. But in reality, it's all just a mask. Just like how we saw on 808s and Heartbreaks, he's vulnerable, emotional, and human too, even though it doesn't always feel like it.
Yeah, I'm learning how to balance. I mean, this is space that I'm in. Like this level of fame and just being like, you know, just a black man in America in an interracial relationship with a lot of creative dreams compressed by the idea of what celebrities are supposed to do at all times and getting in trouble all the time on the media just for being true. You know what I'm saying?
On the final track, Bound 2, Kanye ends the album with a new sense of purpose. He's found his true love, Kim Kardashian, the queen he had been looking for, and everything was going to be okay. For now. After Yeezus, we began to see a new Kanye, one who was visibly frustrated, not just because of how he was treated, but also mad at the way society ran as a whole. The more success he got, the bigger his ego got. He started having crazy outbursts mid-interview.
I am the #1 most impactful artist of our generation. I am Shakespeare in the flesh. You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway. I've been doing this more than you.
To make matters worse for him, Kanye ended up getting married to Kim Kardashian in 2014, a plastic wife coming from a family that represented everything Kanye was beginning to despise. Married to a Kardashian, his life had become a reality TV show for the press, who often made him out to be crazy. Nothing was real anymore, and Kanye couldn't take it. While most celebrities stay silent to protect their image, Kanye fought back. He lashed out at the media, clashed with journalists, and broke the unspoken rule of compliance, making himself an even bigger target in the process.
Hey, good morning, Kanye.
Shut the fuck up.
Hey, just want you to know we're here to support you, though.
Shut the fuck up! You bully! You fucking mosquito bully! Pick a profession and shit with some type of respect to it.
Have a good day now.
By 2016, Kanye was living a life that only he could relate to. And in February of that year, he gave us an album that perfectly captured this, titled The Life of Pablo. The name comes from his identity being split into 3 different characters, each named after an iconic Pablo. On one end, he's Pablo Escobar's, a villain living the life of a sinner. We see this side coming out on the iconic song Famous, where he raps about the 2009 Taylor Swift incident, claiming he still might have sex with her because he made that bitch famous. Then there's his Pablo Picasso side, the creative genius, constantly redefining art and culture. And finally, there's his Saint Pablo side, representing his spiritual rebirth and devotion to family, tying the entire concept of the album together. Kanye consistently reflects on how superficial his life has become, with songs like No More Parties in LA and FML. He even longs for his old self on the song I Miss the Old Kanye. Then there's Real Friends, a song where Kanye asks the question, how many real friends does he actually have? The song was made after one of Kanye's cousins stole a laptop from him and threatened to leak it to the press, blackmailing him for $250,000. After this situation, Kanye cut off ties with most of his family, becoming paranoid about who he surrounded himself with. And with no one he could trust, he would truly begin to fall apart.
Everybody around him very nervous, very scared for his well-being, and they strongly convinced Kanye to go to the hospital for his own well-being and safety. And from what I can gather so far this morning, it was a bunch of things that kind of led to this problem. You know, a lot of problems with stress.
Later that year, Kanye would go on tour for the album when he would perform on a floating stage that would hover above die-hard fans who would sing the words to every song he played. One fan recounted their experience, stating, "This show makes all other concerts I have witnessed pale in comparison. No other concert has made me feel so connected to the performer and the crowd. I can't wait to see how Kanye sets the bar even higher next time." Unfortunately, there wouldn't be a next time.
This is the moment in the Matrix, bro. The vibes is back. Sometimes we be playing the politics too much and forgetting who we are. Just to win. Fuck winning. Fuck looking cool. Fuck looking cool. Fuck being cool. Fuck all that, bruh.
At his show in Sacramento, fans witnessed Kanye crash out. He called out Jay-Z, Drake, corporate radio, then proceeded to call out Obama, Mark Zuckerberg, and Google for lying to people, fully embodying the crazy villain that the media portrayed him to be. The night would end with his own fans booing him off the stage. Kanye would be taken to the UCLA Medical Center, where he would be diagnosed with bipolar disorder and put on medications. In the years following this incident, Kanye would only lose more control of himself, publicly supporting Trump, Twitter rants where he called out everybody, including his own family. Then there was his infamous visit to the TMZ office in 2018.
You hear about slavery for 400 years? For 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all? You know, like, it's like we're mentally in prison. I like the word prison because slavery goes too direct to the idea of blacks. It's like,
the personality that had gotten him to the top was beginning to lead to his downfall. He was taught to always speak your mind no matter what, but now that he had the spotlight and was the voice for a generation, he was hurting a lot of people with his words. Something had to change, and in 2018 we saw the rebirth of Kanye, who now wished to be known as Ye. He escaped Hollywood and began to spend time in Wyoming. Reflecting on the madness he had started, he began to realize where he had gone wrong.
I don't know if I properly apologize for how that slave comment made people feel, so I want to take this moment right now to say that I'm sorry for hurting. I'm sorry for the 1-2 effect of the MAGA hat into the slave comment.
While in Wyoming, he also began working on more music, releasing his 8th solo studio album, Ye, in June 2018. On Ye, Kanye opens up on his bipolar disorder and the internal conflict between his two personas. Kanye, the grounded self who loves his family and seeks peace, and Ye, the reckless, manic side linked to his bipolar disorder. The album opens with the song I Thought About Killing You, where Kanye contemplated killing the dark side of himself. Throughout the track list, we see both personalities come through, ultimately closing out the album with Violent Crimes, where Kanye gets emotional on his regrets regarding his past treatment of women and worries about how it will affect his daughter. Ye is a portrait of bipolar duality and redemption. Kanye confronts his own evil. The craziness within him brings chaos, yet also creativity. It's a cycle of destruction, reflection, and Rebirth, ending with love and responsibility grounding him.
One of the things I think that got missed on TMZ is the main thing that I was stressing is the idea of trying love. You know, we're always, pushing out so much hate, and love can cure so much. Just to think, am I moving in love? Is this out of love?
This gave fans a new hope. Maybe Kanye had actually changed. Furthermore, he started to follow God, releasing an album titled Jesus is King in 2019, a gospel rap album where Kanye expresses his faith and his newfound Christian devotion. But the reality was that Kanye was still a mess. In a recent documentary titled In Whose Name, Nico Ballesteros documented Kanye's life during this period, revealing what was going on behind the scenes. Yes, Kanye was healing and following God, but he still could not contain his anger or his paranoia. The truth was, his relationship with Kim was falling apart and he was still erratic, refusing to take the medications he was given for his disorder. The documentary shows Kanye working on a lot of cool projects, from new music, architecture, and his Yeezy brand, which was peaking in popularity at the time. It shows that he never lost his love for creativity, and he was still the artistic genius he had always been. But without the control over his dark side, Kanye would continue to fall apart. In 2020, as many know, Kanye went on to run for president, believing that he was to be the leader of the free world. He sparked controversy by speaking out against the Black Lives Matter movement, going so far as to wear a White Lives Matter shirt. At his first rally for his campaign, he broke down, which only proved the media's point that he was still crazy and out of control.
Didn't know Kanye West because my dad was too busy.
His campaign would prove to be an embarrassment, further tarnishing his relationship with Kim and those around him. The hope that fans once had was starting to diminish. In 2021, Kanye would finally return to music, this time with the purpose of healing. For 14 years, Kanye held the pain from the death of his mother inside of him, as he never got a clear answer to how she died, and even came to blame himself. Donda came out in August of 2021 and was Kanye's way of paying homage to his late mother and returning to who he was before all of the fame. For the rollout, he recreated his childhood home, lit himself on fire, and ascended into the air. It was Kanye's way of asking the world for forgiveness. After years of fighting demons and going on rants, he was back. He attempted to find peace with his mother's passing instead of letting his frustration out on the world, which he had been doing. But sadly, this wasn't enough. Despite his family's advice, he continued to refuse his medications that were meant to help his bipolar disorder, claiming that they would limit his creative thinking. Kim eventually had enough, filing for a divorce that was finalized in 2022. Kanye would rant about the divorce on Twitter, making him look even crazier. Kim would then go on Saturday Night Live to laugh at the divorce and make fun of his erratic behavior, while ending the night kissing Pete Davidson, the new partner she had found. As you can imagine, this drove Kanye mad. He would be barred from seeing his children, having to pass through layers of security just to say hi to his kids. In 2022, Kanye would also lose his partnership with Adidas after making anti-Semitic comments publicly, which received so much hate online that Adidas had no other choice but to cut ties. At this point, everyone has truly turned against Kanye. He was once a hero, proof of the American dream, that with hard work, talent, and confidence, you can turn your dreams into reality. But he refused to play by the industry's rules. He didn't bow to Hollywood. He didn't play nice with the corporations. He didn't bite his tongue to protect his brand. He set fire to the pedestal he was put on, consequently becoming a villain and the media's #1 target in the process. His ongoing journey of creative excellence, controversial statements, and unpredictable moments has impacted modern culture like no other and has kept him relevant way longer than any human being has ever been. I'm not here to condone anything he has said or defend him in any way. He should 100% be held accountable for what he has said, as his words have an impact. But we also have to realize that someone like you or me can't imagine what his experience has been like. It's easy for us to sit here and attack him for everything he's done, but we haven't seen what he's seen. Looking back, what we've learned is that Kanye West was never ready for his success, nor was the world ever ready for a Kanye West.